Hey guys, this is Eric Weingartner with Weingartner Racing. Today's video is a little different. Today what I did is it's called a bunch of little things because I'm combining a bunch of little topics into one bigger video. So instead of taking just one of these and making a video and making it too long, which I really don't want to do, and I know some people do, I instead am combining a bunch of little things into one bigger video, this being it. So here's a couple of the things we're going to talk about. One, Chinese valves. This is going to be interesting. You'll like this one. That's what we're going to start with. The next one's going to be about the lightest valve train component so far that I've seen. And third is going to be about welding of a cast iron block. And the fourth thing is going to be about a special intake manifold to fit some of these high-end heads. All right, let's get started. First off, this is an LS3 head. Now, this is not a stock one. This is, if you watched any of my other videos, is the worst flowing LS3 head. No, it's not the same one from that video, but this is the one just like it. And a customer had sent it into me, and I'm supposed to port this. And I was looking at it, and I was like, some things look a little weird. First off, he said he was running on a solid roller. And I, of course, look at the springs, and I'm like, you sure you ran these on a solid roller? Because those don't look like solid roller springs. Because in a small block Chevy world, and big blocks as well, the spring diameter is much, much larger. However, PAC does make a small diameter spring like this that's for a solid roller and an LS. So what I did, just to make sure that that was the spring involved in this head, I pulled off an exhaust valve and got the spring. And then I used my spring checker, and I looked at it, and it checked. These are, in fact, a PAC spring, and they can be one of the three. So PAC actually makes a solid spring, solid roller spring that fits these diameter of spring. So this is like a 130 cutout. So they make a spring that's for that, so you don't have to have a bigger spring pocket to run a solid roller. Here's the three that they offer. And I think PSI also offers some as well. You have the choice of the 1335, 1334, and 1333. They have a 1/8 installed height, which is pretty common for an LS. And if you look at their open pressures, you can have a 860, 810, and 750. One of them's good to 800, and the other two are good to 750. I believe this one right here that is on his head is this one. It's good to 750. It's got 810 because that's about where it checked. Open pressure. Now, why do I point that out? Because when I was looking at the head, and this is the reason why I'm talking about this, is Chinese valves. This is a Chinese head. It's got Chinese valves for sure. And the only thing that they changed was the spring. Now, this is kind of bizarre to me because this spring, those springs I just showed you, are $600 for a set. These heads typically cost $600 anyway. So you have more money in the spring than you do in the head, which is a little weird, or the same amount of money. Well, once you get the retainers and locators, you could definitely be more than what the whole head costs. So it's a little unusual. Anyway, these are definitely Chinese valves, but when I was looking at it, I just did a little bit closer look, because I've got a couple guys in the shop, and one of the things, I say a couple, Bishop was one, but he's gone back to doing swimming stuff. I had a new guy, he's doing some stuff, and Keith every now and then works when he's not working his full-time job. But one of the things I tell everybody, and I'll tell you guys too, if you want to be good at cylinder head porting, engine building, and stuff in general, you need to look for what doesn't belong, what doesn't look right. That's going to make you good. So with the thing that's different, not the thing that's the same, the thing that's different. So when I look at this head, I'm looking at it, I'm like, something's off. And the camera's not going to capture it worth a damn on this side, but you could definitely see it. So if I look at this valve, it's got a dish, which that's common. But when I look at this one, it's got so much deeper of a dish. And this one, the exhaust valve looks really deep too, compared to some of the others. Now you might say this ring and you think, man, you took this head apart and that's the reason why it looks this way. Incorrect. I have not taken this apart. I have no idea why that ring's there, because it's on several of them, like this one. Well, what I think's happening, and I bet you if I pull this off, you will see this, it's probably going to start forming of a crack here, because what has happened is easier to spot from this side. So I've got a straight edge, and it's hard to hold this and the camera, so bear with me. I'm just going to put it on the tips. Now I've got it touching that tip at the top here, and it's touching the third one down. It's totally missing that one. And it's not even close on these ones. So what's happened is some of the valves are coming out or up. So if you were checking your valve lash, and I've told you this before, if you see the lash decreasing, in other words, you're checking and it should have 20, but now all of a sudden you have 8 or 5, things like this are happening. Now, clearly this took up way more than that. And the reason why is because the valve's stretching. It's a way to catch things before things fail. In this case, what's happened is, and detonation might have been a cause to it. The chambers, especially if you look at this one, this one's fine. It looks like a dark chamber. This one's, you know, it's got a little white crusties. This one's definitely got more white crusties. Not as bad. But the white crusty things isn't always, sometimes it's just fuel, the stuff that's in the fuel that causes it to look this way. But what's happening is, and it could be related also to detonation, is that extra spring pressure is causing the valve to pull itself. So here we have this is touching the stem, and the whole, I mean, the seat's touching the head. This whole part's expanding, and so it's growing the valve. Point being is, don't use Chinese valves, especially if you're doing a solid roller. Maybe on a hydraulic roller because they have so much less pressure. It's like on the seat, they're at least 100 pounds less. Open pressure is like 400 pounds less. They aren't as likely to do this. Now, I don't know if it's torn up the head yet because I haven't taken it apart yet to see how bad the seat's messed up. But I think he dodged a bullet because this is the first sign before what happens is it stretches so much and it just breaks the valve. It will stretch it in the stem, snap it off, and it's gone. Probably what I'm going to find here is little micro cracks underneath this part where it's trying to pull that out, and it could just break there. What would happen if it did? Well, obviously it'll break the tip of the valve, it'll hit the piston, and you're in for some damage, and it costs a lot of money. So he dodged a bullet with this deal. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some information on that. On to the next thing. This is one big block Chevy stainless steel valve. It's a 2300 head, 1132nd stem. It weighs 151.4 grams. It's not even one of the heavier big block valves. Yes, that's right. That LS3 with the titanium valve and beehive spring and titanium retainer, that whole setup weighed almost as much as one big block stainless steel valve. Valve train weight is interesting. That guy's LS3 with the AFR heads and that's titanium retainer should rev to 8,000, no problem. Anyway, just something interesting I thought I'd share with you. This is the stock LS3 AFR valve train. So this is the stainless steel valve that comes from AFR if you got the LS3 heads. This is its spring and its titanium retainer and its lock. It weighs 229.3 grams. As you can tell, that guy wiped out a ton of weight by doing the titanium setup, the beehive spring. A lot of weight got removed from just the valve train. But if you think that's crazy, check this out. What you see here is a titanium intake valve that fits the AFR LS3 head. It comes from Victory. It was made with the same specs as the stainless steel one, except for it's got a CRN coating on the head and tip. It's got a moly coating on the stem. This is also the PSI beehive spring that fits it, the titanium retainer for the beehive spring, and its locks. That's in grams. It weighs 152.8 grams. That's light, but let me show you how light. This is my engine from my 350. You see this? And the paint's covered it up pretty good, but that's all weld. In case you're wondering, for those that don't know, on a small block Chevy, this is the bolt for the starter. There's two more that are here. There's one here or here. Depends on which starter you have and which one they use. Anyway, this one, mine I use is right there and right here. This one's always used on all of them. So, here's an interesting story. I picked this block up many, many years ago. And I think the reason why the guy gave it up so easy is because the ear here had been damaged. I have never tried welding on cast iron, and I didn't do this. Someone else, where he got the block from, so the guy I bought it from, the guy before him, had thought to just weld this up, and he kind of filed it flat underneath, which I'll show you in a second. See if you can see it. There. See that? And put it together. And he said, I don't know if it'll work, and he gave it to me a really cheap price. And that was a 2-bolt main. I had it converted to the 4-bolt splade, so it's blade caps on a center 3. And I've been using this on the S10, and I've used it for years now. So just to give you an idea how much it's been used, It was in my Malibu before I sold that, the same block. And then it went in a circle track car for factory stock, and it ran for a whole season. And then I've had it in the S10 now for 2.5 years, and it's always started up no problem. I only bring this up because I don't know how he did it, because I know cast iron's real bad about cracking when it cools down. I don't know if it looks like he used a MIG gun. I don't even think he looked anything special. And if I was to scratch off the paint, you would see that it's not even the best welds, but it is held up all the time. But I thought I'd show you that because maybe you got something interesting with that, and maybe you've been in the same situation. Some people are really good at this stuff, but I know a lot of people will be scared to death, because if that don't work, the only place you can use this block for is a sprint car. They don't have starters, for those that don't know. Anyway, let me show you underneath one more time. Yep, each time it started. Weird, huh? No sounds on the starter or anything. But anyway, that's the next thing. Let me go to the last part of this video for you guys. I'll show you one more thing. This is the last thing I want to show you, which is kind of cool. So hold on a minute while I explain. This is a set of Brodix -13 heads. So this is actually a really popular head. I like this head. I port quite a few. Now this one's as it comes exactly from the factory from Brodix. So I didn't have to do any modification besides adding my logo. I am going to port this one, and I'm about to finish porting a different one that's even bigger than this soon. That'll be a later video. But it's a, see it says there, a 13. This is a 13-degree head. It's for a small block Chevy. Out of the box, it's really made closer to for circle track stuff, but it still works great on drag racing as well. Has a 218 intake valve and a 1625 exhaust valve. It flows about 370. The thing with the head is, and this is what I think it should be even more popular, is this head is only about $500 more than a Track 1 233 fully CNC ported. This one's only about 500 bucks more. And it flows considerably more, makes way more power. So this one's full CNC ported as well. Now I will hand port this to make this much bigger and it can make it move more air. But the point is, this head is only about 500 bucks more than a 23-degree head. And if you look at pistons cost about the same. This one you're gonna have to get a custom one for, or not really a custom, they have shelf one. It costs about the same as one for a 23-degree. Shaft rocker setup, it's slightly higher. Slightly, like maybe 100 bucks. So at this point, you're only 600 bucks more for a head that's gonna make considerably more power, like almost 100. The downside are two major factors for this head. One being the exhaust. So they've got this spread exhaust port pattern. And the catch with that is, as cool as they are, there are no shelf headers that I'm aware of that fits your car. So chances are, if you get this head, the biggest chunk of change you're gonna end up dashing out is gonna be for some custom headers. The second thing is the intake manifold. Now, Brodix actually makes an as-cast manifold that's for this. The catch is, it's not that good, and it takes a lot of port work. It will fill up this whole spot. It looks something like this. So this is an alternative to fit it. The catch is, this one says Edelbrock, and they no longer make this. This is a 2959. This is made for the 4150. I mocked it up to go with that head, and it's going to take spacer plates to make it fit right. However, it's one-piece design, right? It's got nice runner length, which is great. However, if you look at the cross-section, it's pretty small. Now, you could port it and make it bigger, but still single plane, not that great. There's another alternative, which is this one. This one a customer sent me in for his 15-degree heads. This week, can get a sending it off, and I'm gonna weld the dividers longer, because the problem with this one is the runners are really short. So I have seen a nitrous engine, we welded those up and actually went faster. So that's going on for this. However, also, this is not a Brock. It's got a lot of cross-sectional area. Don't make it anymore. So you have to find used ones. Giving me back to this. This is the other manifold that fits in. To me, of all of these, this is the best. What this is, it's a tunnel ram. So it fits on it great, and it comes from M&M. So the name on here is actually says M&M. And this one, unlike these two, are a bit different than this one. This one, it's all one piece. These two are just as called a spider. So these ones only cover the intake ports, and you have to get a valley tray that will cover the water jackets each port and the crossover for the distributor on the back. that's a valley tray it needs, then you got to have these. In other words, these make a 2-piece manifold design as opposed to a 1-piece. See how this part's all there? However, this design is so much better. This is a tunnel ram from M&M, and it costs about $1,300, but if you look at it, it's got great length, so it's pretty good there. Is it going to be best for every application? Obviously not. But this is like the next step before you get a sheet metal one, because a sheet metal one, you could have it custom to tailored to your engine, and it's great. They're about $5,000. This is about $1,800, not ported. Actually, it's a little bit cheaper, I'm sorry, like $1,600, depending on the top too. So this one, the guy's gonna run a single carburetor, so he asked for the TP top like this. But they have the same top for this. It's for dual carburetors, so you can run it that way. The good thing about it is you send in your heads when you send in this. So, or you send in your heads when you order this, so they can cut the flange to the right distance it needs to be so it fits. The design itself, it's so much better. I mean, you're looking at pretty much a straight shot as opposed to the turns there. And this thing really does make good power. It's got much more length than that. I've got more room for area. It's still got that one runner that's kind of this way, but not as bad. Nothing like a single plane, much better. So I wanted to show you this because I don't often get this in the shop, but this is a good alternative to these. Now, is it going to beat a sheet metal? No. You just can't match something that's tailored directly for it, but I thought I'd show you this. Still very expensive, and it still is going to have to be ported, so this one's going to be ported for the heads that I'm working on now. But this is a good manifold, good alternative without spending $5,000. So all said and done, you're going to end up, after I'm porting it, you're probably going to be about $2,400. Really expensive? Yes. However, a lot of power to be made. Still cheaper than $5,000 for the sheet metal. So that's one of those things that makes this head cost more. Brodix manifold that fits it, I think it's like $700. You can add another $700 on for porting. It's $1,400. It's probably down 40 horsepower to this. See what I mean? Still considerably better than a 23-degree deal. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the small segments of this and got something out of it. You guys, thanks for watching and take care.